Lou, so tell me about this piece that you got here on the easel.
Yeah, this is another one of those kind of morning landscapes, street cityscapes that I've been doing lately.
And why did you want to do this street? Like, what made you think about it?
Well, I just I like the misty, foggy kind of. You know, I wanted to explore. You know, being able to recapture that mist. You know, the mountains and the hills, and the trees and buildings and stuff that are like set back in this kind of like hazy mist. I thought that would be an interesting challenge, something fun to do. Also, I wanted to do the mist, you know, and create that kind of effect using just opaque paints rather than doing like a glaze over something that was opaque. I wanted to kind of create that effect, just almost like in a blending or a mosaic way, blending with like kind of mosaic approach, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas sometimes I'll paint something and then I'll kind of glaze over it to set it back in the distance. Whereas this time, I'm just starting like this color, this sort of blue-gray. That's going to be the darkest color for this kind of like background.
What is this piece going to be called? Do you know? Did you title
this
it yet?
one?
Yeah.
I'll probably just call it Nolden because it's. I took a photo from Nolden Street, you know, which is just right over there, and that's my goal with this piece, is to get the effect of distance and mist and fog, whatever you want to call it, but through using just like an opaque approach.
Okay. Cool. Right. So so what you're saying is sort of that you could paint it all out, and then you could take like a thinned out kind of milky semi-translucent like a gouache or something, just wash over it.
Right.
Versus actually just painting it with actual paint as that color.
Yeah, yeah, more like a mosaic approach where you're adding, but it's all kind of right there, you know, more or less. I mean, it's paint, so if there's something I don't like, I can kind of go back and go over it, which isn't, which is actually kind of cool too, because then you get like a buildup. You know, I like I like it when paintings get thick and start to look worked. You know, and have like this kind of like you're accruing all this texture and work, and so in a way you can't go wrong. You know.
And I notice you're using a brush on this one. Are you going to palette knife this, or?
Well, this, yeah, I mean, I use a combination. The sky was actually palette knifed.
Oh, okay. That's the
I
palette. Okay.
Yeah, I had like a kind of lighter gray.
Right.
And then this sort of phthalo white, and then I just kind of scooped them up.
Right.
And just ran the palette knife across. And I might go back and kind of do some things with it, depending on whether I like the mood or not. And sometimes I like to bring, the background into the foreground, and using the palette knife is kind of like a nice way of bringing them together.
Right. So I've noticed that a lot of your stuff sort of has this, like there's not a lot of like really bright sunshine, beach, sort of, I don't know, the stuff that you might see on a, I don't know, sort of like in a tourist spot or whatever, like your stuff has more of a kind of an edgy sort of a, like a grayer tone. A lot of the stuff is more grays and more pastels and things like that.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is, or is there a reason? Is it just?
I don't know. I don't know if there's any. It's not like a thought out reason. I would just say maybe because the other artists that I'm influenced by and that I like aren't necessarily like bright color artists. I mean, color is important to me. I like, I'm not I'm not like one of these guys that's not into color. I'm into color, but I just like things more subdued, so that when like I like to subdue things a lot actually, so that when there is some color, it really stands out. So I'm more into contrast, I guess.
Okay.
You know, but I'm not against color. I'm more limited. I like to limit my color. I'm not a guy who. There are artists who like to just go full bore. You know, just like they use every color. You know, bright reds, bright blues, bright oranges, bright. You know, but I'm more into like strategic color, I guess.
Right.
So that like if you might use some, well, like that bartender painting. It's like it's very subdued. I'd say that's very subdued, and even the red, like it's but see, like there's not a lot of like high chroma, high saturated color in it, so that when you see color, like in the shorter bartender's shirt, like that really stands out, even though that's not even a pure red.
Right.
That's like a Venetian red, but it stands out as like a red because everything that surrounds it's gray and umber and dark, and so yeah, I guess I'm more of a strategic color guy.
Right.
I like the contrast. It's like you can't have the loud unless you have the quiet. Like I want, when the color happens, I want it to kind of be important.
To be an accent. Okay.
Yeah, like it'll just have more of an effect when you see it. If you're not going great guns, it's like you're with like all at the same time. With highly saturated colors, it's kind of like, in a way, they kind of dull your senses. I think if everything's just bright.
Mm-hmm.
No?
Could be. I mean, I don't know.
It's like too much. It's like if you're listening to, I don't know,
like metal. Or
just
something.
like just straight metal. It's all loud. If it's all loud and all fast, it just starts to sound like a vacuum or something.
Yeah.
Especially that kind of metal.
I know what you're saying.
It's just like, it's kind of monotone.
And it's actually been proven too that beings experience things in contrast. And Alan Watts talks a lot about that. Where he talks about how you can't have this without its background.
Right.
Because if not, everything blends in. What is this? Is this a circle or is it a hole? That whole thing.
Yeah, you get blown out.
Yeah, you need contrast. I agree. I mean, I do think that's a big part of, any art.
Yeah. Now you see it, now you don't. That's kind of like a.
Yeah.
It's like lost and found.
Mm-hmm.
If you're of the mind to be inspired by something, then you're probably going to be inspired by something right in front of your face. Because you know your way around, and so it's like, that's what I wanted to explore. I wanted to be able to kind of like take something that's kind of mundane in a way, but make it important, because it's important. I think. If you can see the beauty in something that's not like that somebody else might just take for granted, then I think then you have to bring it to a point where maybe you can make somebody else see the beauty in it.